The U.S. Surgeon General is issuing a new warning about social media and its impact on teens. And while we still don't know what the long-term effects on mental health, given how it's so new, Dr. Vivek Murthy is now calling on companies for greater transparency and more research. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy joins me now for much more on this. Thanks so much for being here, Mr. Surgeon General. It is an honor. In this new advisory, you say that so far there's been barriers to our understanding of the full health impacts of social media. What do you mean by that, and what do you want to see change?
Well, Trevor, I hear from researchers all across the country that they're having a hard time getting access to information, to data from technology companies that speaks to the health impact of social media platforms on our young people. And we need that data to fully understand just how much people are affected, the particular groups that are most impacted by social media, and to understand whether the solutions that technology companies and others are putting in place actually help. And the reason we're talking about this, Trevor, is because we're in the middle of a youth mental health crisis in America. I've said before that this is the defining public health challenge of our time. And I'm very concerned that social media has become an important contributor to the pain and the struggles that many of our young people are facing. When I talk to parents across the country, they share these concerns, and they also ask me, is social media safe for our kids? And I'm issuing an advisory today on social media and youth mental health because the evidence, when we look at it, all the publicly available evidence, we do not have clear data and support, research support to tell us, in fact, that social media is sufficiently safe for our kids. What we do have is growing evidence that tells us that social media use is associated with harms. And so that is a great concern for me as Surgeon General, as a doctor, as a father of 2 young kids. And in the advisory, I lay out steps that we have to take as society, technology companies, policymakers, researchers, and others, so that we can ultimately help our kids.
I want to talk a little bit about the data that we found so far. And again, I know that the research into social media and its mental health impact is still pretty early in its infancy, given how new it is. But I mean, according to your warning, 95% of teens, 40% of children ages 8 through 12 are using social media on average 3.5 hours a day. And 3 hours plus use, it doubles your risk of depression and anxiety, which sounds astoundingly worrying. I mean,
It is worrying.
Yeah, I mean, is that even worse than people were expecting? I mean, I know that you're asked all the time by parents, is this bad? That sure seems to me like it almost is openly bad.
Yeah, well, this is deeply concerning. And in addition to that data point, we also know that half of kids who are using social media say that it makes them feel worse about their body image. We know that 1 in 3 adolescents are staying up past midnight on weekdays using screens, and that's predominantly time on social media. And so however you look at it, my worry is that for many kids, not for all kids, but for many kids, social media is chipping away at their self-esteem. It's taking time away from activities that are critical for health and development, like sleep, but also in-person interaction and physical activity. But it's also exposing them to harmful content. So many children are exposed to violence, to sexual content, to harassment and bullying on social media. And so this is a point of real concern. And look, what we've got to do here is take a safety-first approach. We've got to make sure these platforms are actually safe for our kids, the way we do with other products that children use, whether it's medications, cars, car seats, infant formula. We make sure that these are safe so that parents have the support that they need to make the best decisions for their kids. And right now, I'll tell you, the entire burden of managing social media is falling on the shoulder of parents and kids. And that is simply not right. We've got to have their backs. We've got to support them. And that's why I'm issuing this advisory, to call our country not only to attention about the potential harms with social media, but also to call our country to action to address this important issue.
Beyond just making sure kids and teens are not on social media, I mean, what can be done both from the social media company side and from the parent side to protect the children?
So it turns out that there's a lot that we can do. Like I would say for parents, if you have a child who's not yet on social media, I would consider delaying the age at which kids start using social media. 13 is the age at which children are technically allowed by the platforms to start using social media, although I will tell you 40% of kids 8 through 12 are on social media, so those rules aren't really being well enforced. But I'll tell you, with my own kids, my wife and I are planning to wait until after middle school. I know that's easier said than done, and we're looking for other parents that we can partner with because we know this is a tough thing to do on your own. But if your kids are already on social media, what you can do is, number one, start having conversations with them about their use of social media, so they understand not only what is a healthy way to use social media, but also what's harmful, what are things that should be concerning to them, and what they should flag for an adult. For example, if they're being bullied, if they're being exposed to content that makes them uncomfortable. But second, parents can also think about the areas in their life, their kids' life, that are critical to protect: time for sleep, in-person interaction, and physical activity, and to make these areas tech-free zones. Leading by example is a powerful way to do this and to help our kids develop a healthy way of relating to social media. But the bottom line is that this can't be on parents alone to manage this. And that's why we call for a number of actions from technology companies and policymakers, including, for example, setting safety standards and actually enforcing them, just like we do for other products that our kids use.
All right. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy, thanks so much for your time. We know this is something that every parent is having to think about and worry about, too. And it's good that you have the focus of it as well.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.